The smallest coin in your pocket could have the biggest surprise. The Lincoln 1-cent penny is so common that most people never bother checking it. But collectors know some years, mint marks, and tiny details can make certain pennies stand out fast. And because millions were spent without a second thought, interesting ones still appear in everyday change. So before you ignore your next penny, look closely. Like and subscribe for more hidden penny discoveries. In 1991, millions of pennies moved through the American economy every single day. People carried them in their pockets, dropped them into jars, and spent them without a second thought. Most of those coins were considered nearly worthless because of their tiny face value. But hidden among ordinary circulation were a few rare error coins that would later become highly valuable collector treasures. The first coin in this video is the 1991 Lincoln 1-cent error penny, a coin that can reach values between $34,240 and $108,500 when rare minting mistakes are discovered. During the early 1990s, cash transactions still dominated daily life in the United States. Pennies were everywhere, used constantly for exact change in stores, vending machines, restaurants, and gas stations. Because demand remained enormous, the mints produced billions of cents every year at incredible speed. The Lincoln cent had already been part of American coinage for more than 80 years by 1991. First introduced in 1909, the coin honored Abraham Lincoln and became one of the most recognized coins in the country. Lincoln's portrait appears on the obverse of the penny along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1991. The small D mint mark beneath the date identifies the coin as being struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial, which had appeared on the penny since 1959. The design includes the inscriptions "United States of America, 1 cent," and "E pluribus unum." The coin was produced by the United States Mint using high-speed industrial presses capable of striking thousands of coins every minute. Even though the minting process was highly advanced, mistakes still occasionally escaped quality control. A standard 1991 Lincoln cent weighs 2.50 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. By this time, most Lincoln cents were made primarily from zinc with a thin copper coating. Collectors pay close attention to weight because even a small difference can indicate an unusual minting error. Some rare coins have been discovered simply because someone noticed the coin felt slightly different or weighed incorrectly. The minting process begins with blank metal discs known as planchets. These blanks move automatically through giant presses where steel dies strike the coin's design into the metal under enormous pressure. The strike happens almost instantly. But if anything goes wrong during that moment, a rare error coin may be created. One of the most desirable errors found on the 1991 penny is the off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet is not properly positioned inside the press. As a result, part of the design is missing while a blank crescent-shaped area appears on the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still keeping the date visible, the more valuable the coin usually becomes. Another important variety is the doubled die error. Unlike many mint mistakes, this problem occurs during the preparation of the die itself. When this happens, parts of the lettering or numbers appear doubled on the finished coin. Collectors carefully inspect the date, the word Liberty, and Lincoln's features searching for signs of separation or shadow like doubling. Under magnification, the doubling effect can become much easier to identify. Die cracks are another fascinating mint error commonly collected by numismatists. Over time, the steel dies used in coin production begin developing stress fractures from repeated heavy strikes. When metal flows into those cracks during minting, raised lines appear on the surface of the finished coin. Some die cracks are tiny and subtle, while others stretch dramatically across the design. Another well-known error is the grease strike, sometimes called a filled die error. This happens when grease, dirt, or metal debris partially blocks the die during production. As a result, portions of the design may appear weak, blurry, or completely missing. On some 1991 pennies, collectors have found faded lettering or incomplete details caused by this type of minting issue. Among the rarest varieties are wrong planchet strikes. This happens when a penny is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. The finished coin may display unusual color, thickness, size, or weight. These mistakes are extremely rare because several production errors must occur at the same time. Clipped planchet errors are also highly collectible. Before striking, planchets are punched from large metal sheets. If the cutting process overlaps incorrectly, part of the blank may be missing before the strike even occurs. The result is a penny with a curved missing section along its edge. Condition plays a major role in determining value. Most 1991D pennies circulated heavily and developed scratches, discoloration, and surface wear over time. However, coins preserved in near-perfect condition with strong original luster and sharp details are much more desirable to collectors, especially when combined with rare mint errors. Professional grading companies help authenticate error coins and confirm whether the mistake occurred during production. Experts examine the coin carefully under magnification and assign a numerical grade based on its condition. Certified coins usually attract stronger collector demand and higher prices because buyers trust the professional evaluation. Over the years, certain 1991D Lincoln cent error coins have sold for remarkable amounts. Depending on the rarity of the error, condition, and collector interest, values have reached between $34,240 and $108,500. For many people, it sounds impossible that a 1-cent coin could ever become so valuable. But collectors are not simply paying for 1 cent of spending power. They are paying for rarity, history, and the uniqueness of a minting mistake that escaped one of the most carefully controlled production systems in the world. That possibility is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Some valuable pennies may still be hidden inside ordinary coin jars, dresser drawers, inherited collections, or old bankrolls waiting to be discovered. That is why experienced collectors inspect every unusual coin carefully. Tiny clues such as doubled lettering, raised lines, missing details, clipped edges, or abnormal weight can completely change a coin's value. A magnifying glass and digital scale are often enough to begin searching seriously. Collectors also strongly advise against cleaning coins. Cleaning damages the original surfaces and can reduce collector value dramatically. The 1991D Lincoln penny proves that even one of the smallest and most common coins in America can become an extraordinary collectible when minting mistakes occur. A penny once used to buy candy or make exact change decades ago could now represent a rare error coin worth thousands of dollars. So the next time you come across old pennies in a jar or drawer, take a closer look. Because one ordinary-looking 1991D cent could secretly be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. By 2005, most people barely paid attention to pennies anymore. They piled up in cup holders, disappeared into couch cushions, and collected dust inside jars at home. To many Americans, the 1-cent coin seemed too small to matter. But hidden among billions of ordinary pennies were a few rare error coins that would later capture the attention of collectors across the country. The second coin in this video is the 2005 Lincoln 1-cent error penny, a modern coin that can reach values between $24,120 and $88,200 when unusual minting mistakes are discovered. The Lincoln cent has one of the longest histories in American coinage. First introduced in 1909, the coin honored Abraham Lincoln and became the first regular U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. By 2005, the penny still carried the familiar portrait of Lincoln on the obverse. Alongside his image appear the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2005. The reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had appeared on the cent since 1959. Even though the coin looked simple, the production process behind it was extremely complex. The penny was manufactured by the United States Mint using advanced high-speed equipment capable of producing enormous quantities every day. Because billions of pennies were needed for circulation, the minting presses operated continuously. And whenever machines work at that speed under massive pressure, mistakes can occasionally happen. A standard 2005 Lincoln cent weighs 2.50 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. Like other modern pennies, it consists mainly of zinc with a thin copper coating. Collectors often begin by checking a coin's weight because unusual weight may reveal a rare minting error. Some valuable discoveries have happened simply because someone noticed that a penny looked or felt slightly different. The minting process starts with blank metal discs known as planchets. These blanks move automatically into coining presses where steel dies strike the design onto the metal under tremendous force. The strike lasts only a fraction of a second. But if something goes wrong during that instant, a rare error coin may be created. One of the most popular errors found on 2005 Lincoln cents is the off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet is not properly aligned inside the press during striking. As a result, part of the design appears missing while a blank curved area remains visible on the coin. The stronger the off-center strike while still showing the date, the more valuable the penny often becomes. Another highly collected variety is the doubled die error. Unlike some mint mistakes, this problem occurs during the creation of the die itself. When this happens, parts of the design appear doubled on the finished coin. Collectors carefully inspect the date, the word Liberty, and Lincoln's portrait, searching for signs of separation or shadow like doubling. Under magnification, the effect can become much easier to spot. Die cracks are another fascinating mint error. After striking thousands of coins repeatedly, the steel dies begin developing stress fractures caused by enormous pressure. When metal flows into those cracks during striking, raised lines appear on the surface of the finished coin. Some die cracks are tiny and difficult to notice, while others stretch dramatically across the coin's design. Another well-known mint error is the grease strike, also called a filled die error. This happens when grease, debris, or metal particles partially block sections of the die. Because of this obstruction, some parts of the design appear weak, blurry, or completely missing. Collectors sometimes discover 2005 pennies with faded letters or incomplete details caused by this type of minting issue. Among the rarest varieties are wrong planchet strikes. This happens when a penny is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. The result can create unusual color, thickness, size, or weight. These errors are extremely rare because multiple production failures must happen at the same time. Clipped planchet errors are also highly collectible. Before striking, blanks are punched from large sheets of metal. If the cutting process overlaps incorrectly, part of the blank may already be missing before the coin enters the press. The finished penny then displays a curved missing section along its edge. Condition plays an enormous role in determining value. Most 2005 pennies circulated heavily and quickly developed scratches, discoloration, and wear. However, coins preserved in near-perfect condition with original mint luster and sharp details are much more valuable to collectors, especially when paired with a confirmed mint error. Professional grading companies help authenticate coins and verify whether the error is genuine. Experts examine coins under magnification, identify the type of mistake, and assign condition grades that strongly influence value. Certified coins often sell for much higher prices because collectors trust professional evaluations. Over the years, certain 2005 Lincoln penny errors have sold for impressive amounts. Depending on rarity, condition, and collector demand, values have reached between $24,120 and $88,200. To many people, it sounds unbelievable that a modern penny could ever become that valuable. But collectors are not simply paying for 1 cent of spending power. They are paying for rarity, history, and the uniqueness of a mistake that escaped one of the most carefully controlled minting systems in the world. That possibility is what keeps coin collecting exciting. Some valuable error pennies may still remain hidden inside jars, drawers, piggy banks, inherited collections, or unopened coin rolls from the bank. That is why experienced collectors carefully inspect every unusual coin they find. Tiny details such as doubled lettering, missing design elements, raised lines, clipped edges, or abnormal weight can completely change a penny's value. A simple magnifying glass and digital scale are often enough to begin searching seriously. Collectors also strongly advise against cleaning coins. Cleaning damages the original surfaces and can dramatically reduce collector value. The 2005 Lincoln cent proves that even one of the smallest and most overlooked coins in America can become an extraordinary collectible when minting mistakes occur. A penny once ignored in everyday change may now represent a rare error coin worth thousands of dollars. So the next time you come across old pennies at home or receive change from a store, take a closer look. Because one ordinary-looking 2005 Lincoln cent could secretly be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered.